It's just, there's so much to say and so much I probably can't even get to on a program like this and the time I have. But my heart has been very heavy seeing the news last week of what happened to Mahsa. Was heartbreaking, and seeing people posting about her and hoping she was going to be okay, and then seeing that she had passed was very saddening, but very angering, of course, as well. And you can see that, and understandably, it's brought up a lot of feelings for people: heartbreak, sadness, but also a lot of anger. And so, seeing the outpouring of people's emotions about her and what's going on has been both moving, inspiring, humbling, heartbreaking, so many things. And then, of course, it's sparked again the anger of many people within Iran, of course, around the world, but especially those who are within Iran experiencing this. And as a man, I can never understand what it's like to be a woman, period, but of course, to be a woman experiencing any kind of oppression, and to the degree that's happening in Iran, where it's just basic human rights of freedom of expression, of expressing yourself and what you wear, what you dress, is not even granted to the women of Iran. And of course, we're seeing, if you're paying any attention, there's so many videos coming out of protests and things that are happening in Iran. And of course, this is quite limited because we've heard there are internet restrictions and different types of restrictions that are being placed by the government in the country. So we're even seeing just a small amount of what's going on. But the videos have been just, so many things. Yesterday I found myself in tears many times, especially a video maybe many of you have seen of a woman in white, and she's dancing and spinning, and then she throws her hijab into the fire. And the freedom in how she was dancing, how free she was in her spinning, was so powerful, because you consider how symbolic that was in a country where she is not free, or they're now fighting even more for that freedom. There was something so beautiful in that, how free she was dancing and expressing and throwing this symbol of oppression when it's made mandatory to throw that into the fire. So it's just inspiring, the bravery, the courage of these individuals. And of course, even that gives me mixed feelings, because you see those things, you're inspired, you're moved, but you worry as well because of what has already been happening and the backlash from authorities there to those individuals. And this is a very challenging thing. These types of issues are so complex, complicated. There's never going to be simple answers, simple thoughts, simple solutions to them, because I hear so many things from different people. Again, it brings up so many feelings for everyone who is Iranian, and even others. You've seen people that are not Iranian expressing their outrage and their support for the people. But it's very easy at times when we're far away to say, okay, well, just why don't they use this as the opportunity to make a revolution or to make a change? And of course, that desire, I completely understand. Iranians, most of them since 4 years ago, have been wanting things to change. So we're looking for that opportunity. And even in my life, and in being not as immersed in the Iranian community when I was younger as well, but I've heard it so many times that this is going to be the time, that it's happening now. And so people are wanting that. I also think it's so easy to say from far away for a revolution to happen, but very different when you're the one that has to sacrifice yourself or sacrifice your children. So it's not to say there shouldn't be protests or they shouldn't be doing these things, but I think it's so complicated when we're outside trying to say what should be happening inside to a country, or that people should be doing something. Ask yourself, for yourself, would you put yourself in the line of danger, or would you be okay if you're a parent sending your child in the line of danger? And obviously it could bring up a lot of feelings. It's not an easy one to grapple with or to come to some conclusion. But I've just been very captured and captivated seeing what people are doing. You can feel the pent-up anger of those people there. And I also don't want to lose sight of the victims here. And Mahsa Amini, what was done to her, 22 years old. it's just so heartbreaking seeing her family and just how they, of course, we can only imagine the pain and the grief they feel, but just what happened to her was so unjust. And we also know that although not everyone is killed the way she was, but there's so much harassment and there's so much negative experiences that people have. So although she is unique in what her experience was, as unique as an individual as everyone is, and so we cherish and value her and honor her and what happened to her, we recognize that she also represents so many other people, so many other women who have experienced similar things in the past or continue to live in that fear as well now and going forward, which is what is trying to be changed. So it's just been a very, very heavy a week or so since first heard the news that she was in a coma in that situation. And as a therapist, most of my clients are Iranian, not all, but most, and almost every one of them has brought this up in some way, because it's just so much on people's hearts and minds and affects us, and we care. And because we care, it's hard to see, but it makes it so we want to do something. I'm very much in favor of peaceful, especially when you're outside, peacefully protesting, being the voice of those who can't express their voice. And so if you are, wherever you are, there's lots of protests and things happening, and I hope people will be safe and protest, but we have to represent the voice of those who are voiceless or whose voices are not able to be heard. And it just brings up so many issues, related to the book, and I don't know if it seems like trivializing going back to the book when I'm talking about such heavy topics, but the ways that humans can justify certain things that are just so horrible and horrific and the worst things we can possibly do, but using types of ideologies and thinkings and our mental gymnastics that we are capable of. So this is where human intelligence can be human stupidity. We are able to justify and think we're doing something so right. So we see people getting killed, killing your own people, taking away their rights, hurting them in very direct, clear ways, but somehow thinking you have this authority, but also a moral authority that makes what you're doing not only okay, but right, when you're doing the worst things and hurting people. And so it's another example of how human intelligence doesn't protect us from human stupidity or human cruelty and the horrible things we are capable of. So we're seeing some of the best of what people can do and the responses that we're seeing, but we're also seeing some of the worst of what humanity and humans are capable of doing. And so I didn't know exactly what I wanted to discuss, but I felt it was impossible to ignore what's going on, what is on everyone's hearts and minds right now. It's hard to know what to even hope for. I wish for the best for the people of Iran, and I don't know how that even comes about or what that looks like, but wishing for the best for them. Watching the videos of what they have done inspires me and moves me, humbles me, realizes, you see what real courage and bravery looks like, and you realize the things you go through, the things you worry about can seem so trivial when you consider what people are going through and then what they're willing to sacrifice and do in the face of danger and threats and these types of things. Is quite remarkable. So I think we've seen human stupidity and human immorality, but we're also seeing human brilliance and the beautiful side of what we are capable of as well. And I hope we can continue to come together with love and unity in the right spirit to bring about a positive change. And really, I want to just leave it at that at this point. I know maybe in some callers you might want to call in. I might be aware of what we discuss or how we discuss the issue, but just wanted to share some thoughts about what's happening. Our thoughts, prayers, and also our actions are with the people of Iran, wishing for the best. And to all of those who have sacrificed already, we obviously are forever grateful and in debt, and hope there aren't more sacrifices that have to come. I don't know what the path forward is, but I hope it's the best one for the people of Iran. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.